Hey guys! Okay, so I'm back with another video. I know it's been really long, but I've been really busy with my classes, and I even went to India for 1 week. So I really had no time at all in my hands to record anything. But now I'm back again. I have my new video, I have the points written right here on my phone, and without going too much into detail, let's just begin the video. So today's video is about budgeting and how to save money. I know a lot of you are in college, but budgeting is something that we have been doing since we were kids when we were given pocket money, and we would save that little amount. At least I would do that. Whenever I was given pocket money, I would never spend the whole thing, and I would just like save a little bit and then use it for buying something for myself. Perhaps it was always a book because I was like really into books. Now that we've grown up, budgeting, of course, is a part and parcel of something really sad called adulting. So I thought that this video is going to be helpful for a lot of you, at least for someone like me, because I myself try and learn from these tips every single day now that I do live alone and I do have to budget all my money on my own. My first tip for you, if you're trying to save money and if you're trying to budget money, is to record every single thing that you spend. So I know this can sound very tedious and can sound a little stupid because sometimes you forget, like if you've taken a short cab ride from X to Y, or if you, let's say, live in India and you've taken a short auto ride from one location to the other, and you might even forget because it's only 10-15 rupees or like maybe $1 or $2. So obviously in such a situation it can get really harrowing to write down everything. So for this I basically use my handy dandy phone. I have an app. In fact, I have two apps that I'm going to talk about, and this video is not sponsored at all by those apps. I wish it was, but it's not. So I have two apps that help me do this. The first app is called Albert. So how it works is, since I live in the US and I don't know if this app is there in India or not, maybe you should check it out. It probably is that you register on the app. It's free to register. Then you sync your bank account. So I have, let's say, certain bank that I'm affiliated with, that I have an account with. I register that, I feed in my bank details, and of course it's very safe. I know a lot of people who use this app, so you don't need to worry about the safety thing. You register your bank details, and every time you make a debit, like let's say you go to a restaurant and you swipe your card, every single time a debit happens, it shows up on the app. So you don't have to physically record anything. Instead, the app does it for you. So I feel like this is really helpful for those people who forget to record certain things. Of course, this app has its downsides. At least I haven't personally seen any cash recordings. So for example, if you pay something by cash, obviously you will have to physically record that. So if this app is too complicated for you, where there is a different thing between banks and different thing between cash, forget it and go for the second app, which is called Expense. So this app I've been using for quite some time now. It's almost been about 2 years. This definitely works in India because I've used it. In this app, it's basically in the calendar format where you have the days of the week and the months of the year, and you basically feed in everything manually. Now this sounds more tedious, but it's definitely more efficient because you can feed in even the smallest or the littlest payments. Now, the next step should be that now that you've recorded every single expense of yours, maybe for 1 month, obviously budgeting doesn't happen overnight. It takes time to be organized. So once that you've recorded every single thing, you really know what you're spending. And right now, currently, you, let's say, don't have a budget. You're just aimlessly spending, which of course is very scary. Please don't do that. But at this point, these apps will give you almost like a reality check, because sometimes you make payments that you don't see, and when you actually see all of these payments and then you see this huge grand total in the end of the month, it almost gives you a little heart attack. So you really are given a reality check, and now that you're given this reality check, is the time to actually sit down and budget. Of course you can budget before being given this reality check, but for me personally, I feel like someone needs to jolt me first and then only do I take some action. So but if you're the type of person who's already been jolted and you're already ready to take the action, so you can directly jump into step 2, and this is where your budgeting begins. If you have one bank account, try and get a secondary account of the same. So for example, I have one bank account, but I have a checkings account in that same bank and a savings account. This really helps because my account is then divided into two halves. One is for my savings, which really helps because I don't touch that money at all. And if I do, I don't directly debit from that account. I transfer money from my savings to my checkings. Sounds very complicated, but basically, in a nutshell, my checkings account is what I use for my day-to-day life, and my savings account is what I use for saving and emergency only. The reason I'm saying this is sometimes we tend to overspend more than we actually need to. So if you know that you have two separate areas, that this is the amount that I'm going to spend and this is the amount that I'm going to save, it really helps. What I do personally in the beginning of the month is I make sure I have all my essentials out of the way. So that includes my rent, groceries, laundry, and electricity and Wi-Fi, and even the phone bill. These are the 5 to 6 bills that I know that I have to pay, and they are fixed costs. Groceries, of course, differs, but there's a fixed cost in the beginning of the month that that you're most likely going to spend this much. Once I have my money in my hand, I take it out and automatically make all my payments pretty much in the first week of the month. Often what happens is, if you are allowed to pay the rent on the 15th of the month and you wait all the way till the 15th, you tend to overspend on the first 15 days, not realizing that, oh shit, I have not paid my rent. So I really like to get things out of the way first and then live my day-to-day life. Now that you have all the bills out of the way, see what are the things that you're paying for that you don't need. This, I feel like the app Albert is just to die for. This app has saved me so much because I have so many subscriptions now that I live in the US, which seems to be a really subscription-based economy. I did not have so many subscriptions back at home, but like, for example, Pandora and Spotify, Apple Music, Hulu, Netflix, it really doesn't end. There's one section in the app where basically just lists out all your subscriptions that you have and that have been deducted from your account, because most subscriptions you give your debit card in the beginning when you're signing up and then they just keep cutting it out. Recently I checked my app and I saw that I've been paying for a food subscription service, like one of those ready to eat meals that come to your place. I was paying for that for the past 5 months and had not even ordered food from them, and I was just paying for the service, which was almost about $11 to $12 a month. So that really pinched me, and I was really upset with myself for doing that, because I had completely forgotten that I'd taken a free trial for 1 month and I'd given my card details and I forgot to deactivate it. Another experience, actually now I'm in a chatty mood, is where I paid for Apple Music and Spotify. I do not know why. I paid for both these services for like 6 months and I just only use Spotify. I don't even use Apple Music. I don't even know why I bought it like that. It was just the dumbest decision of my life. So make sure that you know what are the subscriptions that you're paying for. If you don't use this app, write them down. Think really hard. Did you pay for and did you use any free trial where they could have automatically charged you? Get that out of the way. It's time to do stuff by yourself, for yourself. So most likely a lot of your money is going, especially if you live in some place like New York or maybe even Bombay or one of these really fast-paced metropolitan cities where you're living a very fast-paced, hectic lifestyle. Most likely you're not eating too much at home and you're either ordering in or going out or using like subscription meal services that I talked about. I would highly suggest that you start cooking at home. It is the easiest and the fastest way to save money. I cook over the weekend. I cook on Saturday and Sunday, and I basically cook enough for like 5 days. So I can have, and I cook like different meal options. So some days I can eat this, some days I can eat that. So I have like a lot of options to eat from. I feel this personally really works for me. And the cost of that meal is so much cheaper, just so much cheaper than eating out. Even something as simple as, which we don't really think about, a cup of coffee. Why do you have to go to Starbucks to buy that cup of coffee? Make it at home. So for me personally, I bought a coffee machine, and everyone told me, oh, are you really sure you're going to use it? It's like, and it's not it's a Keurig machine, so it's not particularly cheap. 1 cup of coffee here in New York, like a normal large cup, would be at least $5. So if I'm spending $5 at least once a day, every single day, I can save so much money if I'm having that $5 worth of coffee at home instead. And automatically my cost for buying that machine is covered in no time. So it really makes sense that you might as well make a slightly bigger investment at home and then use that machine or use that equipment over time, rather than saying, oh, I don't own a coffee machine, so I might as well just go out. and have a coffee outside, you will end up spending way more that way. Now, the next thing, it comes to shopping. I know, don't. I don't even want to talk about this. I think in today's day and age, everyone has a shopping problem. I do, you do, don't lie. If you don't, then I really envy you. So, when it comes to shopping, the rule is really, really, really simple. You need to first see what you have and then only go and buy new stuff. Go through your closet and see, is there anything that you haven't worn in the past 1 month? If you have, great, keep it, which means you most likely are going to wear it again. If you haven't, keep it aside on one side of your closet for maybe another 2 weeks. Again, if you don't wear that for another 2 weeks, it's probably time to let it go. Let's admit it, we all know that we all have that pair of jeans lying in that cupboard, in our cupboards for like 2 years, that we haven't bothered wearing because we aspire to fit into them. I would suggest instead that you sell those pair of jeans and work really hard in the gym, and when you can actually fit into them, just buy a new pair. That makes more sense. So that comes to the point of what you have and you know you're not going to wear, sell it. That's only if you want to earn money. Otherwise, I would really, really suggest give it to charity. There are a lot of people in need. Now that you have decluttered your space, the next tip is do not buy anything impulsively. This is really hard. I'm guilty of it. I'm sure you're guilty of it as well. Impulsive shopping is literally the worst thing you can do, and I feel like with me, once I impulsive shop, I have this weird stuff feeling in my stomach where I actually feel sick. Like, I feel really happy when I buy it, but later on when I see on my app the amount that I've spent on that item, I legitimately feel disgusted with myself. I feel like impulse shopping decisions are sometimes fun, and sometimes it's really good to buy something for yourself and just go with it. But if you're on a strict budget, I would suggest that if you want to buy something, do not buy it the same day. Yes, it might be a sale. In that case, think over it. Ask people, ask your mom, ask your sister, ask your friend, ask anyone that is this the right choice. But if it's not a sale and that item can wait. Sometimes you'll just get over it. Wait for 2 days. If you're still thinking about it, okay, you can rationalize it. But if you are just done with it after 2 days, most likely you'll forget. Like, this happens with me all the time. Okay, now this kind of all ties up to what I said right in the beginning of the video, is once you had made your essential payments, make sure that if you are trying to save money in life, you take out that amount, the amount that you're saving. And by saving, I mean legitimately saving for your future. Right in the beginning of the month. So you take out a certain amount for your essential payments like your rent and your Wi-Fi, etc. And then you take out another small amount for your savings. This I feel really helps. It might be as little as 200 rupees a month or like $50 a month. In case you don't want to save at all and you actually can't save because you don't have that amount to save, but you still want to enjoy some little bit of shopping here and there, that so-called amount that you're going to save for future expensive, save it for your shopping. But do it in the beginning of the month. Do not disrupt your finances during the month. That is a mistake that most of us make. I have been guilty of it for many, many years, but I've really learned the hard way. What I usually do personally is, once I know that, okay, this is the budget of my month that I have to basically stay within, is I take out my essential payments. They're out of the way. Then I take out a really small amount, maybe for my shopping or for my luxury expenses. Then once you're in the month and you're living your life and everything is going well, great. If not, you always have that money that you saved for buying that so-called skincare product. You don't need the skincare product anymore. Take that out and use it for your daily expensive, which basically means that I never, ever, ever do my so-called shopping right in the beginning of the month. I usually wait till the end to see that, do I need that money for something more important? If I do, I rather use it to buy groceries or do my laundry than buying that sweater instead. So even though I take out that certain amount to buy the sweater, in the beginning of the month, I don't actually buy the sweater in the beginning of the month. I just keep that money aside to buy the sweater, so that I know that it's my safety money, that most likely I will buy the sweater from it. But in case I don't buy the sweater, I can always use it for more productive things. These are most of my tips. They're a little jumbled and I might have to edit this video quite a bit. But I hope that it helps you in any way. It is definitely something that I feel like it's important. No one told me anything about budgeting and I really needed help, but I just learned on my own. So I feel like if you're moving anywhere independently on your own and you really are really worried and scared about how you'll manage your finances, just try and follow these tips and I'm sure you'll be fine. And lastly and most importantly, manage and organize your life. As soon as your life in itself is organized, you know what you're going to eat, you know what you're going to wear, you know what your daily plan is. As soon as your life is more organized, so will your finances. I'm not saying live a boring life where you're not impulsive, but on the other hand, if you organize your life, your finances most likely would be organized as well. So I hope this video helps you and I'll see you next time. Bye.
This is vegan. I was gonna say this is heaven, which it is.
This is also
It legit doesn't taste vegan.
it tastes so good.
And these sweet potato fries are legit to die for. That's really good. So I'm now having a glass of champagne, which is some shit, shady. Is the bottle. And our shisha is here.